Hey guys, welcome to Persia Redz Space. I'm doing another class like I've been doing for the past couple weeks, so please bear with me. This class is going to be on different symbols you can use with the ancestors and some preparation tips. Please sit, grab your drinks, grab your smoke, do whatever you do, and get ready to sit with me so I can share some information. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, so for those coming in, again, I'm going to be doing like symbols that you can use with the ancestors, and I'm also going to be doing a couple of preparation tips that you can use for the ancestors as well. Sorry I'm late. Okay, so I'm gonna jump right in. So protection pieces that I like to keep on my ancestor altar because you know, there are so many things out here that are not always for us, so it's like we have to protect ourselves and like our altars. I always protect my altars, and I use different symbols. One of the symbols I want to talk about, this is a piece. It is the hand of Fatima. It is also called the Hamza. It is used to protect against the evil eye, gossiping, people speaking negatively against you, and it brings in good luck. It brings in abundance and prosperity. So this right here is an incense holder, and I like to have this on their altar when I'm working with them with the incense lit. That's one of the protection pieces I like to use. It is of a Hindu descent of culture, and for me it works very well. It's a very great protection piece. The next protection piece that I want to talk about, you know, guys, bear with me. I don't know if you can see the symbol on it. It is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get y'all to see the symbol that's on it. There. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Archangel Michael's, I mean, not Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron and his cube. So this symbol is for Archangel Metatron, and it's also a really powerful protection piece for those that want to work with Archangel Michael. That hey Kiki, for those that want to work with Archangel Metatron, I keep on saying Michael because I love Michael, but this is Metatron symbol that is etched in here. I'm trying to get you guys to see it a little bit better. Is that better? You can find it online as well. I'm trying to, there it is. Archangel Metatron symbol, a very protective symbol. Metatron deals with, you know, harmony, being of and within God, and it is like having a guided protective light around you. So it's one of my personal favorites to use. I'll have something like this sitting on my altar while I'm talking. I'll even use it in conjunction with the hand of Fatima or the Hamza, because you can never have enough protection around your altar space. For one, hey sis. Another symbol that I want to talk about is the Merkabah. So the Merkabah is a platonic solid. It is a 3D triangle. And let me see, let me make sure I got, okay, so the word Merkabah is broken up into 3 pieces. Mer, which is light, Ka, which is spirit, and Ba, which is body. So it's basically light, spirit, body. The Merkabah creates a light barrier around anyone it's on or the space that it's in. It helps with transporting the spirit to the spiritual realm and allowing for clear communication between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. 1 second. Make sure it doesn't fall. It also embraces the union of spirit. So for me, when I use the Merkabah on my ancestor altar, I'm thinking about our ancestors from way back, their spirit, their energy, us all being connected, and us all being in a protective light, being able to have clear communication with them as well. And actually the Merkabah is a really galactic symbol, which is also said to help you communicate across galaxies and across planes. So it is definitely a good one to use if you are trying to have clearer communication with your ancestors and with the spirit realm. I'm trying to make sure I see you guys. Okay. Again, Merkabah. The next one we have is also of, I would say, Hindu descent. One of my favorites. I think we all kind of know the word if you don't know the symbol, but this is called the Om symbol, which is said to be the sound, the sacred sound of the universe. So if you were to like put your ear to the universe, you would hear Om. Om is something that can be chanted over and over again. It's one of those things where it calls to the universe. It is like the essence of reality. It creates unity between the universe and our physical selves. And it is also known to create peace when you're chanting it. And there are different frequencies that you can chant Om in or listen to Om in, and it will do different things. Like if you're familiar with the solfeggio frequencies, like 432 hertz can unblock, can take out blockages if you listen to it. So if you listen to the Om in different solfeggio frequencies, it also is very beneficial in that way. And I just, as you guys know, I like to have peace and calm in my ancestor space. And, you know, I don't know all of my ancestors and how far back it goes. You never know. So I definitely use this symbol on my altar in one way or another with them. Yes, this is great for meditation as well. Meditating with your ancestors, meditating without your ancestors, just with yourself, or just trying to have a higher connection with the universe itself. What is next? Okay, so this is not a symbol. I'll get back to symbols. This is not a symbol, but this is something that I learned young, and then it was reconfirmed when I was taking a class with one of my mentors. So I've always used coconut milk in my shampoos, like always. My grandmother used them, and I actually had a dream about them where it was like, okay, if you think about coconut, it's brown and hard on the outside. Most coconuts are. Some are green. It depends on which ones you get. But in the dream that I had, it was brown. So they have a hard protective barrier on the outside. It's brown. It deals with earth. It deals with grounding. It deals with healing. Got it. Inside of said coconut is a white, like pure white flesh, and a pure, like a clear water, and then the milk comes out as, you know, basically pure white. Washing your hair with it, like I've always done. I mean, it's good for the hair, but in the dream that I had, this is now, I'm not going into what my mentor said, but in the dream that I had, you know, white deals with purification. It deals with your crown. It deals with being clean. And normally, like after, you know, like when I do wash my hair with the coconut, it would always be a spiritual bath of cleansing and things of that nature. So this is like, especially if I really want to start the week off really great, or during this time where it is Samhain slash Halloween, this would be something I would do before I come to my ancestors, before we like have a big talk and celebration where I'm going to give them food and drink and whatever I want to do for them. I would wash my hair with this. Actually, I wash my whole body with this. So I have like a shampoo where I use cast-iron soap, mix it with coconut milk and some essential oils like rosemary, lavender. Wash my hair with it, and then I do a whole actual bath with coconut milk, a spiritual bath with coconut milk. So that's like a preparation of cleansing, purification, grounding, you know, working with your root chakra and your crown chakra, making sure that you are all together when you come and talk to your ancestors. And it's not to say that you have to do it every day. You can, but you don't. I don't do it every day. What else is there? Okay, so since I said something about Samhain and Halloween, I will bring up this symbol, which a lot of us know about. This is a skull. Now, the pieces that you've seen me like kind of pick up with symbols, those are organites. Of course, y'all know I make organites, so I just have them. But the skull, a lot of people kind of feel like the skull is a scary thing. It is not. In many cultures, the skull represents humanity. It reminds us that we are human. It is representative of we are given life and then we are given back to life. That we are resilient, that we, not to say that we live forever, not in a human form, but we are always remembered. This is us without the mask on. This is us without what we hide under on a day-to-day basis. So, I mean, especially during these times, you'll see skulls out. Some are like, have flowers in them, really pretty decorated. And some will just be, you know, one of these, or just whatever most people can get from Party City or any like Halloween or Halloween store or something like that. Even like Michael's and Hobby Lobby and AC Moore has stuff. Sorry about that. The bikes are out. So I usually put this on my ancestor altar just to remind me of, you know, the humility of being human, to recognize my own reality. I'm sorry, those bikes are out. To recognize my own humanity, and to know, it's like giving reverence to the ancestors that also came before me, to know that they are there with me and that they, you know, care, and we have a rapport together. So, skulls. So now I have another favorite symbol, This is my flower of life. I keep this, I interchange this back and forth between altars depending on how I feel. But this is the flower of life. And the flower of life deals with, you know, blossoming from where you once came. It reminds us that we came from one seed and we were able to blossom into something big. So in correlation with the ancestors, this is something that came where I feel like it's our ancestors came from source, came from whoever they came from, and we have blossomed into a big flower. Like the children you have, your nieces and nephews, your uncles and your aunts, they're all pieces of your flower. They all represent a piece. It's unity, it's connection, it's being abundant, being prosperous, knowing that you were born from darkness and that you blossom in the light. Make sure I didn't miss anything. It really has a lot of different meanings. This is also a sacred geometry piece. And sacred geometry are just certain pieces that you can find everywhere, all over nature, in the universe, and within ourselves. But that's like a whole nother conversation. But it's like creation that came from one source, and we are all variations of creation. So it's also for me like reminding myself, like my ancestors, there are so many of us, or so many of them, but we all came from one source. So that's another one. And to piggyback off of the flower of life is the tree of life. I only had it in this one. Let me see if I can get you guys to see. There. Okay, I completely messed up. It's a tree. So, the tree of life. The tree of life talks about, it's like almost representing the seed of life. But when you think about the tree of life, it's more of your personal growth within a big family. So you have your roots, which I personally feel like are my ancestors. Those are my roots. Those are my grounders. That's who grounds me. That's who keeps me safe. Like that's where my base and my foundation comes from, is my ancestors. And then you have your, I want to say stem. You have your trunk. So that's the rest of your foundation. That's your stability. And then you have your branches, your leaves. You're reaching out to, nature, the sun, the stars, the moon, and it represents a family tree. So when I use it with my ancestors, I'm thinking about a family tree, where I've come from, my roots, to the leaves at the top of the tree, which represent me, in a way, because I come from those roots. I'm growing because of those roots. Now it could also represent personal, that you are that tree, that came from another seed, and now you've grown up. You have a stable foundation because you flowered, and now you're a tree. Does that make sense? Did I confuse you guys? I just want to make sure I didn't. So the tree of life, it definitely also deals with unity, just knowing who you are, growing into the person that you're supposed to be in, being prosperous, being abundant, and being very resilient. Trees are so resilient. Like sequoias can withstand fires. there are angel trees that are like hundreds of years old. So like trees are very, very, it's like a beautiful symbolism in my eyes, especially dealing with the ancestors. So I wasn't going to do this one at first, but I was like, it's okay. So I have this bottle here that I just cleaned out, which I clean every couple months because I have, I know you guys heard about rose water. I like to make rose oil, and I like to place it in some witch hazel and spray it on my altar. Roses, like I had mentioned before in other videos, deal with protection, universal love, just the love frequency. Of course, I can't tell you everything I do because this was given to me by the ancestors themselves, but there's a specific oil that I use, and I place the petals of specific roses in them, and I place them in a dark area, and I let them sit, but I score the petals so that the essence of the roses can come out into the oil, and then I leave it in a dark place to, you know, do its thing. And then after like a week or so, I take out the flowers and then keep it in a dark place, and then I use it in a spray bottle with some witch hazel, and I'll spray it around and over my ancestor altar, again for protection, having that universal love frequency. You can use whatever color color roses you want to use. I have a specific kind and type that I like, that my ancestors like for me to use. So since that's between us, I'm not gonna say, but use what resonates with you. Once my bottle dries after washing it, I'm gonna put the oil back in there and put it back in this dark space. I kept the top on it just for the purposes of me not losing it while I'm talking to you guys about it, but it's gonna air dry because I don't want the water in there. I want it to dry so that the water does not make it go rancid. Water and oil don't really mix for too long, so that's also important to know. And of course the oil will have a very nice scent of roses to it, depending on what roses you use. And you can also spray that rose mixture on yourself as well, before you talk to them, or like after you finish doing the coconut milk bath, or however you want to do it. And you can use it on your hair. It's perfectly fine, perfectly okay. Thank you. Okay, so we got those. Everybody want to have pipes. Okay, so I'm gonna say, okay, so here's another piece that I like to keep. It reminds me of prosperity, abundance, being able to grow from a dark black space towards the light, and being able to be, what word am I looking for? Resilient, using what little you have to become the best of you. So I have the Lotus Flower. So I put my tea lights in here, and it represents abundance, not just with me, but within my bloodlines and for future bloodlines. It reminds me that we were born from darkness, and we were able to, you know, blossom and bloom, like how I said with the tree of life, blossom and bloom, and become something greater after getting past the darkness, after getting through it. So some of these symbols kind of mimic another symbol, but it really just depends on what you resonate with or what you want to use at the time that you're talking to your ancestors. Like I kind of go back and forth with what I use, depending on how they feel and how I feel. But I love the whole meaning behind lotus flowers. And depending on the color of the lotus flower, it will depend on what the other extra properties are. But I tend to have an organite with the crystals of the properties that I want it to have. Again, if you're interested in these, just contact me. Any of the organites that you've seen are stuff that I make because I like to be creative with my ancestors. But it's perfect to hold your candles if you're using tea lights instead of 7-day candles or chime candles with your altars. This is perfect to hold your tea lights in, and there's no worry and no fuss. The lotus flower also represents strength to me, and I feel like my ancestors were very strong in everything that they've gone through, and that they impart that strength down to me, or they impart that strength down to us. And as we keep going, we impart our strength down to our descendants that will come after us. So it's like a ongoing thing. Again, it's the seed being planted and what's blossoming from it. And the only way the seed was able to be planted was because someone or plant before us was able to plant that seed for us. Last but not least, I wanted to include the elements in here. So I have written down on these sheets the symbols. Oh, there they are. The symbols, there are going to be 3 symbols for each element, and you just kind of choose the one that really resonates with you. These are all ancient symbols that were used in different parts of the world. So again, you just pick which one resonates with you. I like to include the elements because they are a part of us in one way or another, whether in the zodiac, whether in our physical, whether in the spiritual realm. Without the elements, we really wouldn't have an earth. So the first one, this is Earth, and here are the symbols. I know this middle one is probably a little bit more recognizable, and the bottom might be if you saw, what was it? If you saw the 5th element. So if you saw the 5th element, the bottom one should be recognizable. But for some, the middle is what we mostly know for Earth. And you can use any of three symbols to signify Earth. I like to use whatever resonates with me at the time. So it's just depends on you and how you want to do it. As always, it's really what resonates with you. What works for me may not work for you guys, or what symbol I use may not work for you guys, but these are just, symbols that you can use and just methods that you can utilize when working with the ancestors. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. The next symbol is, I put wind, but it's air. And again, the middle symbol is the one that we probably recognize. And if you've seen the 5th element, then that's the symbol you recognize. Like, make sure y'all can see it long enough. The element of air / wind. So with Earth, deals with grounding. It deals with where we come from, where we bloom from. In some cultures, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It is where we go back to after we are born from it. So I like to keep that. Air, the air we breathe, the wind cooling us down, the storms we go through, the breeze. Like, our ancestors talking to us, whispering in our ears. That's what that represents for air for me. And again, that with earth was what earth represents for me when I deal with my ancestors. The next one I want to go to is water. Symbol for water. We are made up of 70% water. So water is very important to me. And being that I'm a Cancer, water is extra super important. But water is what helps things grow. It is what the earth is made of as well. Like the earth is made up of a lot of water. I might have gotten the percentage wrong with people, but I know the earth is made of 70% water. I'm sorry. But we need water to function. We drink water every day, or should be drinking water every day, because it helps flush out the toxins. It cleanses, it purifies. Water always finds a way to get to its target. It always finds a way to get where it has to go, whether going around, under, through, over. It can carve into the hardest rock. It is very resilient and strong. It also creates storms. You know, you can either be washed away by it or saved by it. So, as any element, it is very powerful. Last but not least is fire. Some of us have very fiery personalities. Some of us may be a fire sign, but fire warms. And just like water or anything else, you know, fire can destroy, but you can also rebuild after a fire. A fire makes fertile land. Sometimes things are burned not because you're not supposed to have them, but to create fertility in your journey so that you can grow new ideas, new things, new abundance, new success. So these are just some ideas of how to, you know, use the elements with your ancestors and make it work for you. Again, everybody's different. All the signs there were 3 different signs for each. They're all different. So you just kind of got to use what works for you. And yeah, like, so we went over a couple symbols, and I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. We went over the Hamza. We went over the Merkabah. We went over, sorry about that, people laughing outside. I'm trying to give y'all a good, let me see. There we go. That is the Metatron Cube. We had the Tree of Life. Let me see if this is, which way this is. Tree of Life. We did the skull. We did the Om symbol. We did the Lotus Flower. I did all of the earth elements that you saw on the sheet. The elements, period. Earth, fire, wind / air, and water. I showed you guys how to use coconut milk. And I told you a way to make your own rose oil for the ancestors. So I really hope that this video helped you guys and that you guys got to see everything. If you guys are interested in getting any of the organites that you've seen here, because some of them will be available for sale, or if you want your own customized one, I will put the link to my shop, and you can get your own piece. And yeah, do it that way. As always, thank you guys for, just hanging out and listening, and all the likes, all the shares, because you never know who needs this information. I appreciate you all for being in Persia space and just, you know, keeping up with me. So I will see you guys next time, and have a wonderful, amazing morning, day, afternoon, evening, night, whenever you see this. All right?